Hi and welcome to the Lake District Yogi. I'm Kat and today's video is a how-to. So I thought we'd go through warrior. So Virabhadrasana, there are 3 versions, 1, 2 and 3, and you will hear these words in nearly all yoga classes. You'll do a version of either Virabhadrasana 1, 2 or 3. So I thought I'd just break them down really quickly so that you know the real sort of foundations of each of those 3 so that you can perform them safely. Okay, so I'm going to get on my feet. We're going to start with Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1, and this is where already it gets quite interesting because this might be like quite controversial. So in Virabhadrasana Warrior 1, we have one leg back, one leg forward, okay? Front leg is bent. So there are lots of ways you can enter this. Obviously, you can come through it in a sun salutation. You can step through from downward dog. I'm just stepping back just for now to make it really simple. Okay, so in Warrior 1, the hips face forward, but the back heel is sealed down. Now this is something I physically can't do. In order for me to have my hips forward and my heel down, I would have to have a short stance like this, which then means I can't bend into that front leg. So that's really interesting. So for all of my yoga life, I've done classes where it's been cued to move into Warrior 1 and teachers or other students just effortlessly turn their hips to the front and yet seal that back foot. I just can't do that. So my Warrior 1 is basically a high lunge. I come up onto my toes, I lift my arms, whatever I'm going to do. But the important thing is that the hips are forward. But technically, the hips are forward and the heel is down. So you need to try that out at different, obviously you can bring your leg in as much as you need, but for me it's so far that it then renders the pose pretty pointless because I can't actually bend into this front leg. So that's interesting. So when you're doing classes and when you're hearing teachers cue things, it doesn't always work for your body, okay? And you just need to adapt and make the pose work for you. It's not about squeezing and forcing your body into a shape that just doesn't work for you and for your skeleton. So that's the first thing. So although I'm how-toing warrior, I can't actually do Warrior 1, but there you go. So the idea would be you'd have your heel down and your hips forward. Okay, then we move on to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So now we have the heel down, but the hips are going off at a 45-degree angle or thereabouts. Nobody's measuring. And that I can do very comfortably. So I can seal that back heel down. My hips are no longer facing the front. They're facing off at this sort of, as if you're like the top corner of your mat. And then you raise the arms. So you've got one arm, your arms are parallel with the long edge of your mat. Your hips are coming off at this angle. You should be able to see your toes. That's a really important thing. What isn't as important is this back foot. And I hear all the time it being cued that it has to also be at a 45-degree angle. I just think that's rubbish. You just have it at a comfortable position. Weight is nice and distributed between both feet. And I often imagine it as like one of those sort of builders, the sort of plumb line, like imagining from here straight down into the earth. So as you're imagining that you're just opening up the hips and sinking down a little bit, but you must make sure you can see your toes, that you're not pressing that knee over that foot. So when you've got your foundations and your feet really nice and grounded, then you can lift into the arms, spread the fingers. Traditionally, we look down that middle finger, but you can look past it. It's just a handy drishti point. Try not to forget about the back hand. That needs to stay nice and energized, that back arm, even when we can't see it. And then we're kind of zooming that cosmic energy, so to speak, out of all our fingertips. And that's our Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, we can then reverse our warrior by coming back like this. We can move into side angle where we place the elbow down and reach like this. There's a whole heap of add-ons, as you were, and lovely ways that we can move with this pose. but our traditional Warrior II looks like this. Okay, so that just leaves Warrior III. And Warrior III is a balancing posture. We come onto one leg and we raise the other leg behind us like this. So again, there are lots of variations. There are people that will be hardline about how you do Warrior III. So traditionally, the arms can be overhead like this, creating a nice long line between your fingertips and your toes. But you can also do Warrior III with the arms flying behind you, palms up. And my favorite is to bring the hands to the heart. And the important thing is to find that ever kind of important drishti, that gaze point, especially in the balances, will really help you. Find your gaze point, engage that standing leg, engage the core. So those bits of engagement really help kind of draw the energy in and keep the balance, and then you'll be good to go. So to recap, Warrior I is heel down, hips forward. Remember, I can't do that, so it doesn't look like that for me, but that's what you would be trying for. Warrior II, hips at an angle, heel down, arms out. Warrior III, hips again, square to the front, and it's a balancing posture with one leg lifted behind. Okay, so there are your 3 Virabhadrasanas. I hope that's been useful. Sometimes it's nice, even as a seasoned practitioner, to go back to basics. I often do it myself. I take a pose like that and I think, okay, I've been doing this for years and years. What am I really doing here? What am I now doing so kind of automatically that I've stopped thinking about, which in some ways is nice because it means that you're flowing without having to break everything down. But we can get into habits and we can, lose our focus. So it's nice sometimes just to go back to things and break them down and see what we're actually doing. So Virabhadrasana 1, 2 and 3, How to Warrior. I hope that was useful for you. If it was, please drop a comment and let me know. I'm going to be dropping some more how-to, so if there's anything specific you would like a how-to on, again, please let me know in the comments. That would be wonderful. And if this was useful to you, please like and subscribe and share. It would mean the world to me. Let's spread the yoga love and let's all get on our mats and get moving. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me.